go. All right, guys, it's time for the after show. Lakes is not here with us. He's now currently moving into a brand new home. Good for him. We got Scree on the line from the actual show. We were talking about import-export rules, and it was a giant what-if segment, but it's a giant concern that I've had since the beginning of the whole thing. So do I want to put chat up on here? I guess I should, right?
Yeah, let's have fun with it. Well, and it's funny you brought up the emails. I haven't really been checking. I'd log in, not really see much. I logged in and saw I've missed an email from 2 weeks ago about a guy doing a. He was the one doing the Kickstarter project for a documentary about startups, indie games.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so
I don't really
emailed
have
him
an
back,
overlay for
and
this.
I was like, well, hey, sorry about that. I know it's probably the end of your Kickstarter and completely useless now, but sure, be happy to talk with you.
Whoops.
So, yeah, that was fun. All right, so we got a question in here, Crowns and Crows. Do you think being a part of a group effort should matter in terms of rewards? This ties in really well, actually, with what we were talking about, probably why they asked it. I think that having a campaign where it's geared a little bit more towards the individual who isn't part of a guild is a fantastic thing. Give people the the feeling of those survival games, H1Z1, those where there's no guild tagging system, there's no group tagging system. You walk out, you see a person, and they might kill you, you might kill them, you can work together. Of course, guilds will, go into these and take advantage of it, just like you see in every survival MMO or FPS or everything. But you know what? It at least makes it a little bit more fun and gives those individuals something that they can go in there and hang their hat on.
Yeah, I mean, Xdega had a comment in there, and he said too much individual rewards creates a very narcissistic community. I don't know what that means. Everybody on the internet is very narcissistic to begin with, so we're all playing video games to kill people. So let's just start with that statement. I said, just to interrupt you for the first time tonight, officially. Okay. Individual rewards are really all that matters, because ultimately you're sitting alone in a room staring at a screen and you want your own shit. That's basically what it boils down to, I think, anyway.
Oh God! I mean, can you imagine the WoW community? I don't understand how I was able to play that game for as long as I did. When you're raiding with 25 people or 24 other people, and only 2 of them get a reward for killing a boss.
Well, see, what I don't understand is why you would admit to that.
I played Warcraft through the 3rd expansion on and off, and then I haven't played since. And then I picked up the latest expansion because a bunch of people I knew were playing it. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'll join in. I don't really care about gear. Gear is like so stupid in that game. Getting it doesn't feel any type of reward. It's just like, yeah, I have 10 plus more stats. It's great. But I enjoyed playing with other people that I knew, and hanging out for a couple hours doing some stupid video game shit. I could not play that game if I was joining a guild of strangers to try to raid and get through content. And I'm like, no, I don't need to be hanging out on the internet with some nerds I don't know. I prefer to play with nerds I do know, and that's about it.
Guys.
Especially if they're 15 years old or something like that. I'm 35.
Oh,
I can't deal with that.
It's been so long since I've had a good teenage nerd rage on me. For everything people might say about LOTD, we have a strict 18-year-old rule where you have to be 18 to be a member of LOTD. And so, that being said, I've had people who've come in to participate in some sort of community event or whatnot, and oh man, just hearing somebody just wig out over
video
just
games.
something silly, and I'm just it's like, oh my gosh.
Relax.
They take this really seriously.
Let's go back to what Xdega was saying. It says, don't you think being part of a group effort should matter in terms of rewards? I'm like, sure. I mean, like the better group that you're with, the more likely you're going to win, first of all. So you get the win factor right there. And it says, then he goes on to say, I think the greatest rewards have to lie in guilds. The rewards that rewards individuals to work towards totally lie and working together, blah 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 blah. To me, I think that's terrible design. Only because you're playing a game. Now you're forcing people to go to guilds to actually compete. And if you're not in a big guild, you're going to have you're never going to win. You're never going to get stuff. So you have to have individual reward. If you're not, yes, you can give rewards to big guilds because they accomplish some great feats, etc., etc. But that goes back to the leaderboards. Like, yeah, you know what? I might not win the biggest, baddest campaigns or tournaments that are going on and everything else like that. Just like I play League of Legends, I'm a shitty League of Legends player, but I still have fun. I'm never going to be in the LCS because I'm not 19 with like super duper reflexes anymore. So I'm not going to be very good at the game, but I can appreciate that. But I get to see my own special progression as a reward. So individuals might not be able to get the best rewards, because people that want the best rewards and actually good enough to get the best rewards tend to go to the biggest guilds and best guilds anyway, so there's really no conflict. But you have to reward individuals, because that's going to keep people playing, and the majority of people aren't in those big guilds and aren't in those hardcore players, and the people spending money on the game are typically the people that aren't in that situation. So you want people paying for the game to, keep the lights on.
Great monologue.
Thank you. It was way too long. It was way too long.
Oh man, yeah.
People should be used to that by now, for God's sakes.
So summarized, it is a lot more work to do things as a group. So yes, the big rewards are going to be for groups. However, provide relative rewards for people doing things on their own. And you know what? If you're able to go out there, survive, do some fantastic stuff, sure. Find a reward, some way to recognize them. Go for it.
Yes. Do we have any other topics for the after show? Screen, did you have any other random
I'll
shit
counter
that you
that.
want to dispute?
I'll counter that.
Man.
Okay, go ahead.
So the big thing there, it's not really a counterpoint, but more to add on to the fact that if you're going to reward an organization, you got to make sure it's not exploitable. So you don't want to award a VIP ticket to the winning guild, and then they all of a sudden have 500 sub-guilds that all subscribe to them just
First of
so
all,
they get a
anybody
VIP ticket.
that's in a big guild right now has like 10 years of VIP tickets anyway. So
That's not true.
because they handed it
I mean-
out so much in Kickstarter.
Can you name 10 LOTD guys who've backed this game?
Yes.
Because I've seen like 4
I'm not no
on the forum.
Oh yeah. He's like, yeah, I can.
I'm Valor, Lakes, Hades, maybe, and that's it. I'm done.
I mean, that's pretty good for somebody who's not even in the guild.
Yeah.
That was my list. But my point is, so you have a lot of people who join up with your guild, right? For whatever reason, you don't want to reward an entire... Okay, let's say there's 100 people in the guild. If you're going to reward an organization, reward it with like 15 VIP tickets and let them split it up.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with, if you do something by yourself, you get a reward for yourself. If you do something as a group, you get a group award, but you have to figure out how that is distributed. And it can be it can be resources, it can be however they do rewards. I am okay with it being a set thing. And I think that, you set, you compare a guild that might be 50 people as opposed to a guild that might be 300 people. And, should the reward of a 300-person guild be the same as the reward for the 50-man guild if they, both accomplished the same thing? Yeah, the reward should be the same, and that 300-man guild gets to figure out how to, keep their members happy while dealing with, not having as much stuff as these other people.
I see that Corin in 101 in the chat is basically I think he's leading towards an antisocial thing. He's like, I hope they don't go the MOBA leaderboard reward tournament much. I don't know what that means. Maybe he doesn't like organized sports. Maybe he doesn't like playing against other people.
So, I mean, they've talked about it.
I don't get that mentality.
Early on they talked about leaderboards and how they didn't want people to focus on leaderboards. That doesn't mean you can't have leaderboards. And that's, it's not something you necessarily have to focus on. It is something to at least recognize people for things they did in a campaign that really won't show up otherwise. So, you know what? You actually somehow found a way to craft, so much or something along those lines. It gets outputted into an API. Somebody can put together a website, display that, and now you're the #1 crafter from this 3-month campaign. You know what? Everything else you did in that campaign doesn't matter, you could have lost. You could have been on the worst team, and that's why you're crafting so much gear. But hey, you know what?
You're a good
had
crafter.
Fun. You had fun. You got to craft a bunch of stuff. You networked well. You know what? Give it to them. Yeah, I
You're
mean,
not giving anybody. It's just
Yeah.
you're just parsing statistics and data. I mean, like that's the whole point. I mean, like you have to give people who aren't the top or competing for the top something to do. And yes, some people are going to log in just to see who they can kill today. But a lot of people aren't like that. They need progress. That's why so many people play World of Warcraft, because they're mindless. They want to go over past achievements. They want to go down a checklist of things to do, and they want something that they can log in and do on a daily basis. That's why That's why League of Legends makes billions of dollars. Because people log in and they compete. They go in and they say, "Hey, I'm going to try to reach, gold 3 today, or I'm trying to get into my promos, or That's their individual goals, and you need a game to give players individual goals. Maybe it's not winning the whole damn thing, but maybe there has to be a short-term goal for everything.
just
Right.
something to hang your hat on and say, you know what? Might not have done anything really great, but hey, I'm the number 4th crafter. I mean, come on, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Let it be
okay.
fun.
We already had our leaderboard. Screen, do you have anything? We're going to wrap up the after show.
I do.
Go ahead.
I had a really good question for you guys to ponder, maybe for the next show. I'm curious what you guys think the majority of your time spent in this game will be doing, as we know it right now.
Probably running around looking for people to fight.
Yeah,
That's basically going to be it.
that's going to be me.
Just like I hate crafting, so I'm not going to do any of that. So essentially, it's me like, okay, I need to get some gear. I'm gonna maybe I'll fight with Lakes about maybe we should kill goblins for swords or goblins for copper ore. I don't really care about that, but I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna say, okay, well, overnight I lost this area and I want to grow my guilds. Hopefully it's tough. It depends on what they're giving us. I mean, if guilds can own land where you can actually see physical barriers and you can actually, let's say, take over a mine or a section of the forest or kill a bunch of NPCs over here, and that creates that influence ring that you see in 4X games and stuff like that. Is there a way to increase that? That's cool because that's a day-to-day type of thing. Like, oh shit, that guild was really active here, killed some people, and increased their influence rate, so their borders are bigger. I want to push that back. Maybe you get bonuses doing that, or whatever. I mean, it really depends on what kind of tools or toys they give us in the sandbox. Because if it's just like, I'm just wandering around just saying, oh, there's some dudes over there, I'm going to kill them. Okay, I got some stuff. I'm going to wander over here, whatever. Because not every day you're not going to be like planning a siege. There's going to be some days where you log on a Saturday morning, you have 2 hours to play. What are you going to do?
Right. So here's the thing, and a lot of people in chat are saying the same thing. I think, unfortunately, that a vast majority of people are going to be spending the majority of their time gathering resources because they're not good enough to hold on to the gear, that they're eventually going to craft. They're going to lose it, or it's going to wear out. Even if you're successful, you're still going to need to replace it. The reason I bring it up is I was watching. We won't name the other game that have recently come out that are similar. But basically, I watched a stream, and the guy, literally 90% of the stream.
What game? I don't want to play that game. Oh, Arcade?
No, Albion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which is similar in concept, but not exactly the same.
To some
art
degree.
style.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the guy on the stream was literally, he had to gather 90% of the time and then fought 10% of the time. I mean, I don't know if people realize that that's basically what this game is being set up based on the activities, because there's no PvE. So
we'll see. What it'll come down to is the efficiency of being able to harvest resources from points of interest. If it's something where you get there, you have to clear everything out and fight whoever else is there, and then you protect your guys, and then really the biggest part is, it could be a little bit more like Guild Wars 2 and how you collect those resources, and then now the transporting takes place, and now you're fighting people while trying to defend your resource transport. I mean, that's how I somewhat understand it, and
look at Eve.
Hopefully.
You got to just look at Eve. Like,
no.
what do you do?
No, please.
Well, I mean, you have to look at games. You have to look at games because... Go ahead.
Well, Eve is a really easy thing. The problem is Crowfall isn't Eve for 2 reasons. One, Eve relies on PvE to basically fuel cash drops for players to convert and buy stuff from other players. So they have a PvE source of revenue that you don't even have to engage in combat against other players to earn money, or to farm resources to earn money. You can go do PvE shit to get it. So there's that avenue is not available in Crowfall. So there's only two options: you're either gathering resources, or killing people for resources. But you need resources.
The whole point I'm bringing up Eve is because you can have if they design the system so you've already mentioned that there's not going to be a large power curve when it comes to gear. So if it's easy to farm up copper swords or whatever the bottom level tier is, the second level tier stuff to get out there, there's going to be a surplus of that by mid-game or whatever you want to call it. So you're going to have stock of this stuff because it's going to be easy to do. And hopefully the way you do crafting is if you go out there and you gather a whole bunch of stuff or you buy a whole bunch of stuff, and people love the farming, they love the merchant type of role of buying and selling and making money that way. Hopefully they have these thralls be able to auto craft things for you, so you just stockpile a bunch of crap in your keep or your hut or whatever you got, and you can pump out 30 swords over the course of 24 hours. You don't have to sit there and watch a bar fill up every single time.
They actually said that's not going to be possible. Everything will be player crafted. But regardless,
I wouldn't put it past them to change that when they look at things. Because do you really want your players crafting and just clicking a button, clicking a button, clicking a button, clicking a button?
I think they do. I really think they do.
They're completely wrong on that.
We'll see.
Why would you want that, though? I mean, all modern games have automated crafting to some degree. I mean, look at the Old Republic. Even Eve is older, but they're doing that. I mean, like, yes, if you want to craft, like, giant buildings, yes, maybe you want a team of people there building that. But for simple things, I think you need to automate that a little bit.
Well, the stockpile issue becomes an issue, too, because of the local banks that they're using. So
well, maybe you can take it over and get all that shit then. Got to protect it.
Right. Or log it out on all.
Well, I mean, they've mentioned that thralls are essentially, you can hire them or have them to defend your walls, right? So you get a whole bunch of shit there.
Useless in Shadowbane.
Well, hopefully hopefully Crowfall doesn't crash when you click on it too. So let's not compare Shadowbane and Crowfall now. All right. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here because I think Valor needs to take a piss. He's getting a little antsy. So
we need to get a good cf.exe and just call it a show.
Call it a day. All right, guys. We'll see you next week, 8:30 again. Thank you for watching the after show. Unfortunately, the actual show is going to be in 2 parts. I'm going to upload it later.
Oh, wow.
There's 9 missing minutes of.
Oh yeah, is that?
It's probably me just talking.
Stitch
endlessly.
it together.
No, I'm just going to do 2 parts. I'm not going to deal with that. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Catch you later, guys.
Peace, guys.